Do you want to get a FreeBSD virtual machine running on macOS with a GUI? Okay, then let's have a look. In this video, I'll be using UTM. UTM stands for Universal Turing Machine. It's an open source system emulator and virtualization platform for macOS. It's a project based on QEMU, the quick emulator, but it has been optimized for macOS. It supports a large number of CPUs, including Intel's x86, 32 and 64 bits, and ARM CPUs. QEMU can emulate a CPU. This allows, for example, to run Intel machines on Apple Silicon at the cost of speed. But it can also virtualize a CPU. This means that we can run virtual machines at native CPU speed. Today we'll be installing FreeBSD on a Mac with an M3 processor. Since I'm running on Apple Silicon, I will be installing an ARM-based version of the FreeBSD operating system on UTM, and I selected version 14. I want to show you in this video how to access FreeBSD running XFCE with a GUI, and also a way to share files between the host and the virtual machine. Before this video I have prepared a few things. I've downloaded already the ISO image for FreeBSD 14, and I've installed and I'm running on the host system an SSH server on port 8822. Okay, let's get this done. First of all, I want to start UTM. And I'm going to create a new machine I want to virtualize, and it's going to be another machine. We select FreeBSD version 14, click on open, continue. Here we're going to leave the settings as it is, continue. In terms of storage, we currently have 64 GB, it's okay. Share directory currently is not working, so we just press continue. And here is very important, we select that we want to open the VM settings. I'm going to give it a name, so FreeBSD 14. I'm going to call it test for this experiment. Click on save. Here I'm going to select a nice icon, it's an operating system icon, a FreeBSD. QEMU, we can see that we are basically running on UEFI, that should be fine. The display currently is selected to Virtual. We have a network in shared mode. We have a sound device, which we'll not be using. The USB, this is where DVD is selected, and the hard disk with 64 GB. So, okay, we start the machine, and the boot process starts. Here we select to install the machine. I'm going to be selecting the German keyboard. I can just continue. I'm going to give it a name, test, leave the settings as they are, auto ZFS, stripe, device, okay. Then it starts the archive extraction and installation. We are almost there. A few configurations are missing. I'm going to use for the demo purposes a very weak password. Configure IPv6 with DHCP. We currently don't need IPv6. We are in Europe, in Germany, most of Germany. Let's leave the settings. I like to select clear temporary file system at startup. For a demonstration purpose, I will not install any new user. And we are done. Don't like to do any final modifications. And we can just reboot. At the reboot stage, we can just go here to the machine and select the image. We should eject. Okay, we can log into the machine. Here I'm just going to try internet connectivity. It looks fine. First, I like to bootstrap all my FreeBSD systems, installing Midnight Commander and Vim, the best text editor for sure. I might not be using Midnight Commander, but I always like to have it installed in my machine. It's good, very good for troubleshooting. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be installing Xorg, XFCE. We'll be connecting to our machine using XRDP and Xorg XRDP. Okay, for sure this was wrong. pkg install, yes, and now we just fast forward. So installation is now finished for the packages. We need to configure sysrc xrdp enable equals yes, sysrc xrdp sesman enable equals yes. Now we need to edit the file. User local etc xrdp start wm. We're going to select to start XFCE, write the file and exit. At this point, although I don't need to do it, I can just reboot the machine to make sure that sesman that XRDP is running. Let's log in as root. Service XRDP status is running. Soon we're going to be disabling the display of this virtual machine in order to make it a little bit easier to connect to the machine. We're going to do a small tweak. etc get tab. So here in the default, where we have the message, we're going to set the etc banner sh, and this we're going to configure this file. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to fill in with the following: spin if config vtnet0, we need a pipe, grep init, we need a user bin awk, those are the wrong ones. We need print F, Control V, X5C, and with this we get a backslash, and FreeBSD at semicolon print $2 and print like this, etc banner, just to make sure that the banner is running correctly. We have one additional bracket, here. Okay, looks good. We can exit and we're going to see that the banner is going to tell us the IP address of the machine. For the time being, let's try to connect to the machine. We're going to do this through Microsoft RDP, so we add a connection. We add exactly this IP address, 10.0.2.14. Here under display settings, I don't want to start the session in full screen, so we just leave it like this. Add, and let's try to connect. Enter root, the root password, not the most secure. And there we go. We have a session already. Finally, let's shut down the machine, power down, and let's remove the display. Here under the settings, we look at the display, we type in remove, and the display is removed. We need to add a serial port, which we can find it here. Let's save it. Let's again check the virtual machine settings, built-in terminal, looks good. If we start the machine now, it should have it's only a small terminal. This terminal can also be removed, but it's fine to have it because if you don't have a display and you don't have a serial port, then you don't necessarily know, it's not so easy to get the IP address, and changing the banner we can definitely see where the IP address is, and we can just connect to the machine again. Okay. Now, how can we share some files between the virtual machine and our host environment? For that, I'm going to start the terminal. And I'm going to select, pkg install pi39 pip. Okay, this happens because the machine it's not under the path, so we can just start su dash. This can be fixed afterwards. Okay, it's installed. Now pip install upload server. Yeah, it doesn't like it so much, but it's basically installed. It has changed recently. So let's go Python -m upload server port 5000, and it's running. Now we start a browser in our local machine, so we go to https 10.02.14 port 5000, and here we have access to our the contents of the machine. Here we can see that the machine is being contacted. This means we can easily download files from the machine, but in this case I want to upload an SSH key, so I just go to the /upload and I choose files. Here under I put a private key and I submit. Upload successful. Here I can stop the server. So this file has just been received now, and I create an SSH directory, move ID. Since it's a private key, it shall be protected, and I will test the connectivity to the server. Here we need to enter the IP address of the host machine. And I had forgotten, I'm running this in a different port, 8822. This is why we want to test the connectivity. We put a password and it looks fine. So, since we have tested the connectivity, how can we make sure that we can install that we can mount the directory over SSH? For that I need to package install FuseFS SSH file system and KLD load FuseFS. How can we make this permanent? We can edit etc/rc.conf and have this following setting: KLD list FuseFS. Now let's mount the directory under /mnt. So let's try to mount the file system. Here we can see that the file system is not mounted, and we can mount it with the sshfs. We need to give it a username. I will use the username at my machine, at my host machine, and we need to set the IP address. And the directory we want to mount from the host machine. I want to mount the ISO directory. We will mount under the /mnt folder, and I mentioned that I'm running an SSH server, but this SSH server is not is not running in the standard port, so I need to add an option, SSH command, SSH port 8822. I need to add the password for the private key, and we're done. If we go to the shared folder, there we have it. We have the shared folder mounted. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a question, please leave a comment. Otherwise, see you next time. Bye bye.